Oh, thank you so much, Deborah. Yes, I wear this her Friday Forever shirt like basically every day but Friday, and I was like, why is that? I do this on Fridays. I should be representing. So today we're gonna be making a big wreath. I know that sometimes I get requests for videos on it, and I don't do them as often, just because they're a little bit more involved. Um, but I'm gonna do it today. So we shall see how it goes. So it is like beautiful here. Hey, hey, Kathy in North Texas. What is the weather like there? Hey, Jackie. It's actually very nice here. It's probably in the 60s, but my workshop is in like the basement. I mean, I have windows and all that, but I am in the basement, and it is so cold down here. So the sunshine ain't shining in here today. All right. I ate like half this bag of cherries. My husband knows like my new, like, well, not new. My love language has become like gummy bears, so it's becoming an issue. Yes, come on in. Say hello and tell me where you're watching from. Is the angle good? It's slightly crooked, I think, but I feel like for me, it could be worse. And also if you can hear me over the crinkling. So for today, we're gonna do a nice full wreath. All right, 85 where you are, Amber. I am jealous. I am jealous. Deborah, you're in Pennsylvania, so you're probably kind of in the same boat. You getting a little warm weather coming your way today? Let's see. It's a little dark. Raining in Texas. Diane, I love it. I love that you're working and watching. Good for you. Very nice in Florida. Oh, yes. All right, so let's get into it. We are going to be doing a big, big purple wreath today. Just what I was in the mood for. Something a little spicy for our Friday. I'm waiting on my hummingbirds too. So we've always had 3. Sadly, one of them changed last year, but like another one came. But my guys, they talk so much to each other. They chirp. I mean, I have 2. I'm just gonna be cutting this up while I yap. We don't have any pollen yet, so I will say that we're in the front running for that so far, but it's coming. Rain and thunderstorms in Indiana. Is it warm? Because I actually like thunderstorms when it's like warm. It makes me feel like a kid, like when you went to, if you like went out in the rain and like slushed around in puddles and stuff. Like I love it. It just gives you that little, I don't know, nostalgic feeling. So yeah, we have on our back deck, I always put at least 2 hummingbird feeders, and they like to fly back and forth. They're also really nosy. Like I do think they're just curious creatures. However, like mine are specifically nosy. Like they like to hover above like my head when I'm talking. They're always looking for the tea, but they're beautiful, and I can't wait because they make me feel very present and very grounded. It's part of why I love my dogs so much, is that you can't think about too many other things when like you're really focused on something. So that is why I love animals so much. So I just got my latest case from Michael's of our 18-inch grapevine wreath. So the last few have been rough. I already shipped back one. I'm getting ready to ship back a second one. They're just like oval, like there's like super thin parts to it, all that stuff. This box so far has been decent. So I don't know if you're looking to stock up, maybe this is a good time. I don't know if it comes in waves or not. Someone was saying, ooh, who was it? One of our members was saying that they don't even come from Michael's. They come from like an independent place. And I can't remember the state, but I mean, really the quality control is not there. Not there. The lives do get reposted. Yep. Looking for worms. That's super cute. So there are great places to get grapevines. You can get them through TMI Gifts. Someone was telling me about Nick's Seasonal Decor, and I had no idea. He's in New Hampshire too. I had no idea. I always just assume pretty much everyone is in the South because I feel like everyone usually is in the South. Apparently he's moving to the South, so I wasn't that far off. But he does not live, his town is not that far from me. So someone was saying like good pricing, great quality. I want to say that his grandmother cleans out the grapevines for him, which is awesome. Super cute. Hydrangeas were your wedding flower and mom's favorite. So I'm going to show you an easy way of doing placement. So I like to start with just like the largest blooms first and then working my way in. But what I like to do before even doing the flower placement is I like to just put in a layer of ficus. And I know like a lot of this ficus does get covered up, but there is something to it that it's like a technical tool that works for me. So if you don't need it and you don't want to waste your ficus, by all means, you could just go with your floral placement. But for me, it serves a purpose. And I probably use like 3 to 4 full stems. So we're talking like $3 for my sanity. So I'll take it. I will take it. And they're usually kind of like on the outskirts, the leaves too. So I feel like that also has a little bit of structure to it. Gina, when I saw your emoji, I thought it was a snake. I saw the funniest, I mean, it's like, it's funny, not funny. I'm really afraid of snakes. And they had this video of this man who was standing in a river, and I don't know where he was because the snake was like this long. And so he was like trying to be like a hero because the snake was going towards the shore. So he grabs the snake and he whips it. And would you know it landed on this huge raft of people, and like they were all screaming. I mean, it was like a snake coming out of the sky. It was like funny because it wasn't me, but also I was like, this poor guy is like thinks he's doing this really nice thing, and then he went and made it worse for other people. All right, I'm just kind of turning this. I've noticed, you've probably noticed too, that I often like have a little bit of an issue balancing like the very bottom just based on how I design. So I'm trying to get a little better about either if I want to lay it flat. Flat's not really my go-to, but it is an option. And then also just turning as I go. So I'm just giving everything a little bend as I go. And just keeping the flow going the same way. Flow is like a thing that I think, you know, when we're designing wreaths, it does matter because if you have everything going in one way and then something just shoots out in like totally like competing directions, it just throws off like that symmetry. So to me, I like to make sure everything's going in the same direction. And then when I do something with the bow, I like to have everything up top going this way and everything bottom going this way. Like that's why you'll notice like a lot of the time when I comment on people's wreaths, like that's something to me that I really love to see, because when it's not there, it like makes my OCD like itch. I just want to fix it. Hey, Verlene. Hi, Diane. Diane, we're doing all purple today. And I have to say, I did think of you. I was like, I hope she's there because I know that lady loves her purple. And so I hope you like this design today. Rabbit fern. I've never seen rabbit fern. Ooh. I'll have to look at that. Where, is there a specific place you get it? Today we're going to be using, so I like to use a minimum of 3 types of greenery. So we're going to be doing our ficus, we're going to be doing some woodland fern, and then we're going to be using some begonia leaves, which I love these. They're just like a nice little mix when you're working with like pinks and purple florals. And then I'm going to take all my nubbins. I don't know if I've been on live with you guys since I found this out, but I have been like binge watching Friends, and like maybe a week or two ago, it was the part about Chandler having a third nipple, and that third nipple is called a nubbin, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't like stop saying it now. It's like, it's ingrained in me that this is what this little leftover piece is, but yeah, technically it's a Chandler reference. Right. Definitely went a little heavy on one side, would you say? You think, okay, Michael's might carry it. All right, Diane, I don't want to let you down. I was thinking the other day, like there's so many things that are going on and so many things people are managing and like stress and all these things. And I was thinking, isn't it nice that we have an outlet that we can kind of like get a little bit of a break from? Not always, you know, not completely, but it is nice to have something that you enjoy. It brings you joy, and it also brings other people joy. It's kind of like, it's like your happy place. My happy place anyways. Like if I'm like really in the zone, there's a pretty good chance I'm not worrying about like turning over the laundry or, you know, whatever else I worry about. All right. So let's use up all of our little Chandler nubbins. I was like stunned when I heard it because it's been so long since I mean, I don't even know how I picked that word out again, but I was like, wow, I'm so glad I've been teaching that to people. Okay. So I know somebody had mentioned they struggle with hydrangea placement sometimes. So what I like to do, and I use these so often, last year Michael's had this ridiculous sale, and these guys were like only a few dollars each. So I bought like 100 of 3 or 4 different colors. So I have them in lavender, cotton candy pink. I don't care for their white hydrangea. They're a little, they're not as sturdy as I want for some reason. But yes, so these are kind of a cornerstone in a lot of my designs, just because again, it helps set up like the pattern for me, and then I can just like go from there. You know, I talk about muscle memory a lot, and it takes a while to figure out like what is kicking into your muscle memory. You don't always notice it, but for me, typically, like I start up here. I didn't do it as a plan. It just happens to be where my eye goes first. And now that I know that, it's easy for me to just start without having to think about it. Same thing, like the more you do these designs, you're not really thinking about how much you're cutting, you know, how long is the stem, things like that. It just kind of comes natural. I would say like riding a bike, but I think last time I rode a bike, I like threw up. So that says a lot about my fitness. I'll stick with the wreaths. Oh, Deborah does, you paint and you make soap and candles, yeah. It's true, like sometimes at like the end of a day when I like need to decompress, like I'm down here like doing arrangements and things. Like it's, you know, when you love something that much, I feel like it's a bit of a reinforcement that it is what you're meant to do. You know, like that is a gift that you've been given. All right, so I'm gonna stage these out in 5. Okay, I always, for this one, I start up top. And sometimes I don't glue these until after because I get them a little bit off. But let's roll the dice here and see what happens. You can always pull them out kind of quick. Yeah, there are people, they do a lot of different types of, you know, crafts, activities, like all of those things. And there's also so many different medias, you know, whether you're doing swags, like a lot of people use grapevine bases for things. You know, like the things on the candlestick holders, which I have to do. I've had one ready from TCT Crafts, and it's just sitting there, and I'm like, I need to just do it. All right, I think, yeah, no, let's see. Pulling out quick, because Surebonder is not joking around. When it is in for the most part. I have ruined many a flower trying to free it from the grasp of Surebonder glue. So for my glue pot, I use the Surebonder glue pellets. And then in my glue gun, I use Gorilla Glue 6. And I've heard of people like mixing things in their glue pot, but honestly, like the Surebonder ones, they work fantastic. It works better than it used to. Like I do think that there was like a formula switch up. And so I get mine just from Amazon, and I just do them on like a subscribe and save. And this is why I don't always glue. What are you talking about with this glue? Okay. All right, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I just know it's going to kind of irk me if it's not. Okay, I think we're good. Let's see. Yes. You tried Surebonder pellets. You like it better than your Gorilla Glue. Yeah, Gorilla Glue doesn't make pellets. I don't know if I would have tried Surebonder, but I'm like so glad I did because it does work excellent. I don't know that I've tried their glue. I tried their like rope glue stick, which was cool, but I used it up really quickly and I forgot to order more. All right, so now we've got our big hydrangea in, and like almost looking at this wreath, in some ways you can see it's not that far from finished if we wanted it to be. So now we're gonna go in with these cabbage roses. So these cabbage roses are a Joann's dupe, okay? Pioneer did away with their berry smoothie cabbage rose, which was like one of my absolute favorites. And I was so bummed. And then I saw these at Joann's, and I think the heads on them are pretty close. Foliage, not so much. So I always take off the foliage. And it also doesn't have like the baby blooms. I like how Pioneers, they have six of the large blooms and then three buds, so you can kind of like pair them together. So you lose that, but the value is definitely here. And for anybody who is like waiting for Joann's prices to drop, I am right there with you. Things are still 40% off. Nothing special there. I will say though, the caliber of some of the items that they're bringing in really makes me think that they were like going to elevate their game. Like, I don't know if you can see, I have like all of these real touch hydrangea and lilies, and they're so lifelike. They can't go in wreaths, but they are perfect for, you know, arrangements. And I got some in this like really deep purple. Almost used them and did an arrangement today, but then I was like, I'm feeling wreathy, you know? Feeling wreathy today. So this is a good dupe. Yes, I've gone there twice, and I kind of wasn't looking. Okay, so with the pattern, I know I got to do both. I'm going to start up here, okay? And now I'm going to start putting them in just systemically. So yes, so I went to Joann's. I wasn't really looking at the price tags that much because I was like, well, they're going out of business. Everything must be cheap. And lo and behold, I bought these cherry blossom stems that they had as their original price of $25. Have you ever bought any stem at Joann's that cost $25? I was like, I think that they marked it up because they want to get as much as they can get, which, you know, okay, but they don't have the prices on them like they normally do, and they were not worth $25. So I was not happy about that. The Real Touch florals are very well priced, especially the blue, which is the one I'm going after the blue ones anyways. That's kind of like that was my favorite of them. But when I went there, I went a second time and there was like one left. And I was super bummed. And normally, when I can't find something, I quickly go to St. Anthony. Not super religious, but St. Anthony is my favorite saint. That saint delivers. And so anyways, I hadn't even had a chance to ask him to find them. And I looked down and there were 2 unopened cases of blue hydrangea. So I ripped them open like an animal because that's what you do. And yeah, got a dozen of them. All right. Do we see how everything is setting where the gaps are? Because now the way I'm processing it, we know we have a gap here that we need to fill. So we are going to go in with these hydrangea. Okay, these are from Pioneer. Nice foliage. Push that right up. And you got to get to know your floral bushes because when it comes to these, 4 pieces are kind of smaller. They go a little bit side to side. And then it's got 1 big head. So I always try and be a little strategic about how I'm placing that. Cheryl loves that other people share that addiction. I know. It's as soon as somebody shares something with me, I'm like, you have just spent my money. I hope you're happy. I always say that we're just people spending each other's money. Gina shared that Farrah Silk sale, and I was like, oh dang. It's just, you say you're not gonna shop, and then something pops up, and you're like, I have to have it. And I have so much ribbon right now. I mean, I didn't think I could make it worse, but I have made it worse. I get anxiety that if I don't get it right away, it's gone and I'm never gonna get it again. It's probably the mantra of hoarders, but that is just how I feel about certain things. Like the blue hydrangea, I was like, I don't want to come back and find out that I missed it and I can't ever get them again. So I'm going to get as many as I can for as long as I can. I am forever covered in glue. I swear. I could not do anything for 2 days and there's still glue somewhere on my clothing or on my person. Oh, I'm glad you're loving the color. Yes. This is a lot of purple, and whenever Connie comes on, I know she's going to love this too because this is a color combo that she particularly loves, and I know all about it. All right. Sorry if the sound cut out. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, but you know how your favorites come through, and that was my mom. Even though I told her I couldn't talk till after 3. Let's see. So we have some new members to our membership group. I hope I'm going to say her name right. I believe it's pronounced Thana. It's Thaena, and she is absolutely wonderful, and I just love seeing what she comes up with. She is very, very unique, and I like how she presents online. So welcome to her whenever she sees this. And then also we have Cheryl. Cheryl and I did a lot of our connecting yesterday, but can I tell you, this woman works fast because we talked yesterday, and by today, she had actually opened her Etsy shop and already had something listed. So sometimes it's like we don't need to overthink everything and wait till everything is perfect. You know, she had a question about shipping because it was saying shipping was going to be something like crazy. But she got it up there. And like that's all you need to do. And then you just start to go back and fine tune things. You know, you figure out how to set up your shipping rates, which there is like a free video on this channel. You know, then you just start to dig into your resources. But yeah, if you're, you know, if you're somebody that is not selling and is curious, if you are giving things to friends and family and they are saying like you should be selling, that is an outward expression that like that is something you really should consider, because people wouldn't just say that. They would not set you up to look foolish if they did not think that you were going to succeed in it. So that's how I started. I posted something on Facebook at the time where I was just giving housewarming gifts. And one of my friends said, "Why aren't you selling on Etsy?" And like that was the beginning. So, you know, we have to learn to accept compliments and not deflect, and also believe in the compliments. People aren't really, your friends and family aren't going to tell you something unless they mean it, you know? I bought like these really baggy jeans like a year ago, and I asked my mom if they looked okay, and she was like, "Well, they're not flattering, but if they're comfortable." And I'm like, okay. I needed to know that because I'm not sure. I don't really expect someone off the street to tell me that they look bad. But yeah, like take the signs. And if you, and it's not everybody has to sell. If it's not of interest to you, if you don't want to do the business aspect side of it, then don't. But also, like, if you're somebody who has tried to sell in person at, you know, a craft show, people at craft shows, some people do amazing. So I'm not going to, this is not a blanket statement. This is like how my experience. In my experience, if I showed up with a wreath that was like over $100, this is years and years ago, you know, you get a lot of, like, that's too expensive. I could make it cheaper. Somebody once said they were junky, not to my face, but, you know, people, one, they might not know you can hear them, but also, you know, everyone has their own thing that they think is valuable. Like, let me think of something that I think is, I could care less about. Oh my God, I'm sure there's like a million things. Like, let me think of it. What's something that people are really interested in and I don't care about? I am not a big real jewelry person. Like, my husband, he in the past has gifted me like real jewelry, and I'm like, no, I want big blingy things. Like, I appreciate it, but it's just not something I care about. I actually would rather have it look the way I like than be expensive. That's not a priority to me. So he gave me these teeny tiny Gucci earrings, and I was like, but you know what I do wear are my upcycled Gucci earrings that are like big, and they're, you know, upcycled, like they came off of like a purse, a shoe, or whatever. So those cost $100, maybe. To me, I love them way more than like the ones that came from Gucci. All right, so I'm going in with my greenery now, and I'm going to start framing out each of our large hydrangea blooms, okay? Cheryl, I'm there with you. I am running a sale, and it is working a bit. So I actually sold a Christmas wreath yesterday. I think it was probably 30% off. You never know what people are going to gravitate towards. So, you know, trying different things. And then for Donna, you're having massive flooding this weekend, large amounts of rain, and your state lost a 9-year-old boy. It's devastating. The weather is, ugh. I heard that it was like affecting 6 states, and I think hurricane or tornado, like they were like massive. It's very unsettling. And it definitely puts things into perspective. around like safety versus, you know, some of the other things, like me rambling about earrings. Sending prayers to you, Donna, and everyone in Kentucky, and then all the other states that are impacted or are going to be affected by it. Like, does it not just seem like every year the weather gets like more intense and crazy? Oh my gosh. He was in her niece's class. Ugh. Like, that's just unimaginable to lose a child. So my daughter is studying abroad in Ireland, and her second week, they got hit with their first hurricane ever. And it was like a level 2, and essentially they had no emergency supplies. They were in a foreign country. They had no running water, electricity, like for a weekend before like we moved her out of there. But I was like, why are they having, like, this is their first hurricane. They had no idea how to manage it because it had never happened before. And of course her school was like right on the water. So luckily everyone was safe, but it's just, I don't know. So this is woodland fern, and this is from Pioneer. This is one of my go-tos. It is a pusher, so if you're doing like an arrangement and you want to leave it like long and airy, you can do that. Oh, just inhale the, excuse me, some smoke, I think, from my glue pot. Oh. These light hydrangea are from Michael's. And I got them last year, and they were like literally only a few dollars a piece. So I have not been into a Michael's in forever. I do get my grapevines there, but I have not heard a lot of like great things. So I don't know if they're still there or not. But I'm glad I did stock up on these because I do use them as like a cornerstone for a lot of designs. Just because they take up so much space, and also like when you're teaching people at workshops, it makes it so much easier instead of having so many small parts, you know, like as soon as these go in, they've already taken up so much space that it's easier to see the design come together. So on either side of the hydrangea, I'm going in, I'm putting 2 pieces of our woodland fern. And I feel like it's hard to find greenery that you really like. So when you do find it, it's nice to have it from a source that, you know, it's not going to run out. So I have probably like 3 or 4 from Pioneer that I just religiously keep in stock because I know that I'm always going to look for them and I'm always going to use it. I like getting unique things too, but as far as, you know, if you are trying to lower your inventory and not get too, you know, sometimes we want such a variety and then we don't use it all up. We don't have a plan for it. So when you have just like your staples, those are good to invest in, and plus you can get them at a high quality and high quantity, so you can lower the pricing on it if you're doing wholesale. Yep. Cheryl is right. It's time to be grateful and count our blessings. Hey, Carolyn, how are you? Yeah, the woodland is nice. I like that it's green and it's got like yellow to it. I worked with lamb's ear this week, and I forgot how much I like lamb's ear because I do so much with yellow-based greenery. I really don't even have a lot of like blue-based greenery on hand. But a customer from 5 years ago, so probably like very like the much earlier stages of my Etsy shop, she asked me to recreate a wreath that I made for her 5 years ago because she loved it so much. And so it was fun going back because I feel like my design style and mechanics have changed, but then I was like, oh, I forgot, like this wreath sold really well. And sometimes it's good to just go back to basics. When you have something that has like a proven track record of selling, that's something that you want to focus on. Even though I know it can get a little bit boring, like my goal was to only make one-of-a-kind wreaths. And that sounds fun, but you know, when you're talking about Etsy, Etsy wants those duplicates. They want to see that they know that your wreath is going to keep selling over and over again, so they're going to push you up in the algorithm. So for me, it is my monogrammed wreath, and if anybody is looking to get custom letters made, I mean, I would, if you can find, you know, a font that you like at a local store, I would definitely do that first because it's expensive. However, if you are looking for something specific, because sometimes it's nice to offer something that other shops aren't offering. I use Craft Cuts. I also use an Etsy shop called Footsteps in the Past if I need like a quicker turnaround time, because Craft Cuts it takes weeks sometimes. But they are currently running a 20% off sale, which of course I placed my order like a week or two ago. So I was going back and forth on if I should wait, and I was like, no, just do it. And sure enough, the sale doubled. Normally it's like 10 or 15%. All right, how are we looking? Gina, are you out there? I'm feeling like you're on the East Coast, but I could be wrong. You can't find ficus lately? I mean, I think, so I use Pioneer, but also Craft Outlet has some that is nice. So I think either of those places, and I ordered some from Craft Outlet a few weeks ago, so I would think that they have it. And if anybody else is on here and you have a good place that you source your ficus, like if you can throw it up in the chat, that would be great if we can help each other out a bit. The ferns are from Pioneer, and these begonia leaves are also from Pioneer. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Greenery at Joann's. Sometimes you can find good floral dupes, but you know, Greenery, if it doesn't look real, it automatically, I think, puts your design at a disadvantage. All right, so I'm going top corner again, so a little muscle memory. And I'm just gonna put in these little pops. And I also like they're kind of creepy and viney. Sorry, Steve is like going ham upstairs. I always like things that have that creepy crawly feel because I think that it imitates how things grow in nature. So I do enjoy using these, and I think it's always nice to kind of have them like trailing and have them like almost a bit out of place, like out of line almost. Greenery Market, yes. I've heard many, many good things about Greenery Market. Hey, Lily, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, there are so many great places. TMI Gifts has the ruscus, so like that's also something that I keep in my rotation because that looks and feels very real. And I try and narrow down how many places I shop with just because I don't know if you're like me, but if I will save free shipping if I spend another 20 bucks, like I will do it. It's just, you know, nobody really wants to pay anything more for shipping than they have to, even if it doesn't always make sense. So I try and just stick with, you know, placing a larger order at fewer places. All right, so now I'm going to start doing the outer edge. So really, once we did the 5 hydrangea, it's almost like now we've got just pockets in between, and we're just going through and we're just repeating. And when you do things in this pattern or like method, you end up with things that look balanced. If you kind of focus a lot on one area and then you try and replicate it, I think it's hard. It's like, I don't know if anybody else struggles with double doors, but like I get so excited when the sale comes and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got like the ruler out. I'm trying to measure things, you know, making sure it's as close to being identical as possible. And I'm not at my best when I design like that. I design at my best when it's just kind of like fluid, which is also why I like using a glue pan or a glue pot over a glue gun. Not that there's anything wrong with either of it, but I feel like with the glue gun, you kind of have to keep stopping to pick it up. And I would much rather just dip my stem and just like keep going. You do have to be careful with the glue pots, of course. The glue is very, very hot and it will blister your fingers in like a split second. So you do have to just be cautious. So really, as I'm going around, this is going basically behind each of the cabbage roses. All right, so let me take a look. All right, let's see. Oh, that succulent wreath, that was the one I was talking about. And so I'm gonna get more lamb's ear. I'm gonna do a tutorial on that. It's actually it's not a hard design to make. I just hadn't made it in so long, but I still have that same Echeveria and it's really, really good quality. So it's a great like star for a wreath. That was when I did things. I was much more like, it's kind of a minimalistic wreath. I actually have some that are even more minimalistic than that I made on willow wreaths, because there's really not a lot of room to put anything on a willow wreath or like really get it in there secure. So whenever I used to use those, I was kind of sparing with the materials and I just let the willow wreath be the star. These, yeah, begonia leaves. So they come in a little bush like this. And yeah, a little goes a long way, I think. And I'm just using the rest up. Just kind of in areas I think that they'll get some attention. All right, what else? What else? Because I pulled some different things. I'm not sure I'm going to use them all. All right, so let's go in. Do I have enough? 2, 3, 4. All right, I have a limited amount of these. So let's see. I don't know what I was using these for before, but some of them are on floral picks. Let's get them off. Must have been doing a taller floral arrangement. All right, I know I have a 5th one. Let me just grab one like super quick. It should be right over there. 2 seconds. Okay. Let me look in here first. Okay, 2 seconds. Thought I was prepared, but let's see. This is actually a little bit different, but I'm not mad about it. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Where is this from? Ooh, there's these too. I don't even know where this is from. Fresh picked spring. I won't dwell. I don't know what it is, but my eyesight is like, it's just not good. Getting older, you know, I mean, better than the alternative. However, I swear it's like my eyes are just constantly adjusting and readjusting. Oh, okay, Jackie, I think your question was answered. I hope I missed that. So in our membership group this week, we did an Easter challenge, and it was so nice. Today's our last day, so there are more to come, but it was really nice seeing everybody's designs because they are also different. And something that I think is more of a southern thing, but I really love, are the lanterns, the lantern swags. Amber, I think that was you. I don't know why those aren't done up here. I want to make one because that was so pretty. Angle is a little different. Okay, this gives me like English garden vibes, which I love. So again, I'm just going right into the center now of our little pockets of 5. I'm just nestling this in between our florals. I don't really want it sticking out. It's just not what I'm going for right now. Is this angle better than when I do it over there? I feel like it is. I think the lighting is probably better. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me though when I turn and work on the wreath. I think I'm going to get like a little microphone. Can you tell me if you can hear me when I'm like looking this way? I'm a very guilty person for mumbling as well, so that doesn't help. Okay, you guys can hear me. Okay, maybe it's more when I was doing it over there. I got some feedback that you couldn't hear me like when I turned around, but I'm liking the setup better anyways. After re-wallpapering this thing 20 times and then finally just painting it back to its original color, I'm happy to use this part of my workshop. Really knuckling that in. And let me just add an extra piece up top. All right, how is she looking? Because she's looking pretty done to me. I mean, we could do more. However, if we are looking to, well, one, I don't really think it necessarily needs more, but also if we wanted to keep the cost down, and if it's not necessary, it's not necessary. So what I'll probably do is, usually after we do these videos and I can actually like look at things head on, I make a few adjustments. So I'm probably gonna just get rid of some of the ficus leaves that are in here. I like them on the outer edge. I don't really care for them inside as much. Yeah. And one of these is wonky. All right, so here is our purple wreath. I'm so glad you love her. Hey, Isabel. Thank you for joining us. So the last thing that I do is, I'm not going to bore you with it all, but I do clean up the back of the wreath because we don't want to scratch doors. Okay, so when you're looking, like this is the hot mess that's in the back. And so what I do is I go through and I clip everything that's sticking out. Or what you can do is, like, if you take a long piece like this and you bend it right back in, like weave it in. I don't know if anybody else remembers or like ever started this way, but when I started, you wired everything in. So like glue wasn't really a thing when I would do it anyways. Again, Lord knows where I learned to do any of this, but I use wire. So I'm going to clip off all of these stems, and these stems are really where the majority of the glue is. So then once everything is snipped, I'm going to go back with my glue gun and some reindeer moss, and I'm going to put some glue over the where I snipped, and then put the reindeer moss on. And I really like to kind of like cram the reindeer moss in, just so that when it's shipped, it doesn't kind of like get loose in the box, and then your customer opens it and they're like, what is all of this debris? So I like reindeer moss more because it comes in like clumps, but you do have to make sure it's not one that the color runs off. I recently had purchased, I just wanted a smaller amount, and in hindsight, when I look back, it had a review with a woman saying she had to wear gloves because it turned green. So like, I can't use that. I could use it in a floral arrangement, but I can't put it on somebody's door and risk it staining or running, anything like that. So I would just check your the reviews, or let me know and I can recommend one as well. Or you can just use the preserved moss that they sell, at the craft stores. I've never had a problem with those. It was just this like particular reindeer moss off of Amazon. Oh, wiring everything, yes. Yes, it is lavender. And you can hear me better facing. Okay. All right, awesome. Yeah, wiring, like, because ones that my mom has from like forever ago, they're wired. And I'm like, oh my word. Like, one, I mean, it's effective, but it's not effective like glue. And it's a lot of work. And I do remember it, like, it would hurt your fingertips to like keep going with the wire. So gluing is definitely a much, much better way. Again, I love the glue pot. Some people use the electric skillets. You can just get like a little 10-incher. So this is our big purple beauty. Just a reminder, next week we are going to go live. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Thursday at 7 o'clock to do our TMI Gifts wreath kit. I just need to confirm with them because it can't conflict with another designer that they're doing. So my goal as of right now is next Thursday on YouTube for the wreath kit. And if anybody was interested in designing with me, there's a whole slew of things, but basically it all is designed around this ribbon, which I absolutely like adore, and I can't wait to use. And some people have thrown out some good uses for it, like using like long tails and all this stuff. So I am really excited to use this as well. So yeah, if you want to just, grab a tea, glass of wine next Thursday and hang out with me, I would love it. And yeah, I think, let's see. I think that's it. I'm so glad you guys love it. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I'll take a better like photo outdoors. But yeah, I hope everybody has an awesome weekend, and thanks for keeping me company. See you soon.